Oh my gosh, you're back. Congratulations. You're back. All right, we're at the 52 weeks of wealth principles, but we are going to condense that. We're going to make it faster and more efficient. You're going to be having those principles ingrained in you by the master himself, Walter Amarillo, who just got back from 10X and he's already planning 10Xing the 100 Millionaire Summit. It is going to be wild. You're going to love it. So here it is. Wealth principle number 3 from the man, the myth, the legend, Walter Amarillo.
Welcome back, Alchemist. Let's give Stephen Beaver a big round of applause. We are here to double your income and double your net worth. Hands to the camera if we're still committed to the same cause. If this is still why we show up every week. Excellent. Wealth principle 3 is understand the 4 types of money. They are income, profit, flow, and equity. If every single one of them is obvious to you, then you're going to go a little bit deeper in your understanding of them this week. If you missed last week's wealth principle, it was wealth principle 1 and 2, which was first, think a million. So you've got to get to the mindset of believing a million. And the second one was choose a business that can make $1 million. Hands to the camera if you've already committed to both thinking a million and choosing the right business. Excellent. So in this week, we're going to talk about the money. We're going to talk about the different types of money so that we can collect the right things. If we're not collecting the right forms of money or paying attention to them and treating them properly, we will end up not having money. Who here knows what it's like to not have money? Has been through that experience? Excellent. So we're going to go through this in no particular order. And I'm also not going to have PowerPoints because this week I was at 10X. And at 10X, they made me stay in Las Vegas, and notice I've lost my voice a little bit because I was yelling about 10X like 1,000 times. Hands to camera if you know who Grant Cardone is. Hands to camera if you know what it means to 10X your life, to go big or go home. So in the past, I used to say, I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. But on day one, I had to 10X my goals. So I said, okay, fuck it. We're going for 1,000 millionaires. Hands to the camera if you think that's a big goal. That's scary as shit. Hell yeah. But then on day 2, I was still there in the room. I was still there, and they were like, 10X your goals. And I was like, well, fuck, my goal is 1,000 millionaires. Like, I guess now I got to go for 10,000 millionaires. So I 10X'd again. So hands to camera if you know 10,000 millionaires sounds like a hell of a big goal. It's scary as shit. It's like not even possible. Except I do know that 1 million millionaires are being made every year. So I was like, if it's possible, if they are being made, then all I got to do is kind of get in the slipstream and like add a few more to the process. It's already happening. We just got to improve. And then I showed up for day 3, and guess what they said? They said, you got to 10X your goals. And so I said, fuck, how do you 10X when you already got 10,000? So I said, we got to build 1 million millionaires, which is what Vinny Chopra has been telling me to do since I connected with him. So let's give Vinny a big round of applause. Let's give you a big round of applause. Look, I'm 37 years old. I'm going to live forever anyway. So I figure I got a lifetime to build 1 million millionaires. That's a good enough goal to keep going after. While I was there at the event, everybody was talking about this one type of money. Who here knows what cash flow is? Who's heard of cash flow? Answer the camera if you want more of it in your life, if you're okay with the idea of cash flow in your life. Awesome. So cash flow is also known as profit. So today we're going to refer to cash flow and profit as the same exact thing. So as we're going through the 4 types of money, I want to start with the one that I believe is the most fun, the one that you get to keep, the one that you didn't have to work for, the one that other people worked for, an asset worked for, and that is profit. Hands to the camera if you're committed to profit, earning more profit this year. Excellent. Because, when I was at Cardone's event, like one of the things that I liked about it is everybody in the room was a hustler. Everybody was motivated. Everybody was dedicated. Everybody, I didn't have to say this to a single person. When I said do things morally, ethically, legally, like, yeah, but I already do that. Of course. Because Grant Cardone also believes in doing things morally, ethically, legally, which is why he is a billionaire, which is why he owns over $4 billion worth of real estate. And his investors are a part of that, which I think is just a beautiful way to build your business. Your clients become your investors. You build by the way, Grant builds millionaires and then he has them invest in his businesses. Fantastic model. I think every single one of us should commit to doing something like that, helping others make money and then giving their money an opportunity to passively invest in your business. So one of the flows, or one of the income streams, like again, the 4 types of money are income, profit, equity, and flow. My favorite is profit. So let's start with profit. And I don't have a PowerPoint because, again, flew in last night, landed about an hour ago, took a quick little nap. My voice is shot, but I am here anyway. Hands to the camera if you would still take notes, even if I don't have a PowerPoint. You're still going to do it. Awesome. Excellent. So then we're going off of memory of what I know about each one of these. Let's rock and roll and see how I do. Well, number one, profit. Profit is the earning of money from an asset. It is the earning of money from an asset. It is money that you did not work for. It's money you built at some point. And if you've read the book, Broke to $250,000, you understand the point is not to work, it's to generate income. So profit is income that has been generated by an asset. This is the point, is to build assets. Hence, carefully understand what profit is. It's passive income, right? Who here got into this whole I build millionaires thing, this 52 weeks to wealth thing, so that you never have to work again? Who's that ambitiously lazy that you're willing to work so hard and crazy so that one day you don't have to do it at all? You know, me as well. This is the whole reason I got into real estate in the first place, was to actually get profit. I didn't know it. I used to call it cash flow. I said, cash flow, cash flow, cash flow is everything. Passive income, passive income. But really, it is profit. And passive income can come in the form of businesses. Profit is the income from a business that's operating really well. This, by the way, again, is money you don't have to work for. This, every employee you have, I learned this weekend, actually, it's very cool. Every employee you have, you should be earning about $250,000 from that employee. Every head in your business, you should be earning about $250,000. So anything you're paying them under that $250,000 is profit, assuming that your expenses are cut out from that number. So let's say you're employing an employee $50,000. They're pulling in $250,000. That means your $200,000 profit actually came from the relationship you built with that employee. Hence, if you understand, relationships are important. Even if it is based on culture and dollar amounts. Who here would like more profit in their business? More profits? Excellent. So then we're going to do an exercise at the end to tighten this up. But one of the solutions to getting more profits is to first build a business. The first step to getting profit is to either build a business or acquire a business. And real estate, by the way, is the easiest business to acquire. The banks will finance it. The banks love to lend on real estate. And it also comes with its own built-in employees. Finding a real estate agent, dime a dozen. Finding a property manager, maybe not as many dimes, but still very available within the dozen. The inspectors, the contractors, the plumbers, the electricians. Hence, if you understand, all these trades are built around real estate, the business. Excellent. So when I say profit, I'm also referring to cash flow. Stream number two, or type of money number two, is income. And again, there's really no order to this. I'm just giving them to you in orders of, I'm reading a screen and I'm saying that's the next one. Income is the one you're all familiar with. Every single one of you on the call right now earns some level of income. Income is something you actively work for and pay taxes on. There is both active income and passive income. They are taxed differently, but in this particular call, what I want to refer to them as is money you worked for. Any kind of income that you worked for, active income, is money that involved you in the business. Now, profit is money that did not involve you. Income is money that did involve you. So I want you to think for a moment. We're going to do an exercise together really quickly. And I want you to put on the paper profit on one side, or passive income on one side, and then the other side I want you to put active income or income. And I want you to start writing underneath it the activities that happen in your business that generate income. So it could be the sale of a product, it could be the sale of a service, or it may just be a check came in, rents came in through the business. Did you collect the rents personally, physically, or did a property manager? If a property manager did that, then that's passive. If you did that, then that would be active. Hence, carefully understand this exercise. Very simple. So I want you to just very quickly write down the top three, the big juicy streams of your income. Which side do they go on? This could be income you worked for. If you showed up at a job, that obviously goes on the right side, the income side. If this is income that came in from your rental properties, or if it came in from your business and you were not involved in your business, then that would go on the left side, on the passive side, on the profit side. So as you're writing these, and there's just three, I know some of you crazy cats have 10, 17, 20 streams of income. I understand that Michael Shine has been tracking literally every individual stream of income and is like, wow, now I just got royalties. because now royalties are a part of being a book writer and author. So let's give Mike Shine a big round of applause. His book is now out, Fast Track to Millions. All right, Darina told me I'm not allowed to point out a bunch of calls to action, so don't buy Mike's book right now. But whenever you get a chance, you can go pick it up. So passive income, active income. The active income is the one that everybody's been doing. It is the one you intend to reduce yourself out of. But before you do, don't quit your day job until you've been able to shift it over to passive income, until you've been able to shift it over to profit. So income is designed to be done to find employees. There's something you hear me say often last year during the third season is learn it, do it, delegate. This is the secret to business. I'm going to say it one more time. It's the 3 steps to business are learn it, do it, delegate it. Or delegate it is another way to say hire it out or train it or automate it. So your business, your constant goal is to always be, if you're doing like interactive, like actual active income, you want to learn it, do it, and then automate it. If you are not automating, your business is capping at some point. If you're still doing the same tasks this year that you did last year, that you did the year before, that you did the year before, you have probably gotten into a rut. You're probably capped out financially. And if you look at your income, maybe it's fluctuated up and down a little bit. But my guess is that it hasn't gone up in a straight shot. And my guess is that your workload has. If you're making more and you haven't been shifting out and delegating, there's a good chance your workload has increased and your income has not increased marginally. It hasn't increased in an exciting way. Hands can, if you know what that's like. You've been through those years, maybe going through one of those right now. You're committed to changing. Absolutely. So learn it, do it, delegate it. That's what income is for. The active stuff you're doing is designed to be turned into passive income and scaled out. Do not scale. Too many entrepreneurs make this mistake. And I was in a room of 10Xers making this mistake. Too many entrepreneurs will go out there and like drive hard on their active income. So they got to keep driving hard on their active income every single year. And then eventually get burned out. And they're like, what is going on with my business? And they stop making money. Hands can, if you've done that too, you commit to not doing that. All right. So it's really important that you do the active income just to learn it, so you can learn it, do it, and then delegate it. Number 3 that we're going to talk about today is flow. Yeah, we'll do flow next. Flow is a form of income that we all have. In fact, most people are familiar with flow, even though they'll never call it that. Who here has heard of living paycheck to paycheck? Who knows what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck? So paycheck to paycheck is another way of saying flow. That money that comes in and then has to go out. The money that comes in has to go out every single month, every single week. That is your flow. That is the money that has to be in the bank account. Who knows like their number? Like they know, like I can't let my bank account go under that number, because you don't have to type it in the chat. Just throw the hand up if you know what your number is. So if you know the number every month of like how much you spend, right? You know your budget of spending. In order to get past that, you got to look at what the flow is. And if you're not paying, like most real estate investors, by the way, these 4 types of money are for real estate investors and business owners, but primarily this is for real estate investors. Hence, Cam, if you're investing in real estate, all right. So if you're investing in real estate, understanding your flow is understanding what your mortgages cost. It's understanding what your insurances cost, what your monthly maintenance costs, what your property management team costs, what the repairs that you're doing cost, what your CapEx that may come down the pipeline. Like when we buy properties, we've bought properties knowing we had 2 or 3 years left on the roof. So we knew CapEx was coming. So we had to start planning for it, because you don't want to go take a loan out for it, unless that's the strategy that you originally planned on. Hence, Cam, if you understand, flow is important. And so part of your savings can come from flow as well. If you don't have a good handle on your flow, there's a good chance you may not be making the money you think you're making. I was at 10X again this weekend, and I met people who are making $1 million revenue. That was the whole thing they talked about this weekend. They didn't talk about profit, which was one of the strange facets to 10X this year. Was all it was revenue. But nobody was talking about what they were keeping. Like nobody was talking about like how much they got after all of the expenses were spent. So I know, based on some of the conversations after I started diving into conversations with people who were like, yeah, my revenue was, 3 million last year or 2.4 million last year. I was like, cool, excellent, very, very wild. What are you keeping? Nah, I keep about 100,000. I keep about 150,000. I keep about 80,000. Some of them I keep about 40,000. It's like, holy shit, like, so tremendous, revenue, like massive amounts of money coming in, but the flow is so high that it just wiped out everything else. The flow is just constantly beating into the company where maybe there was some inefficiencies there. Hands to the camera if you may have some inefficiencies in your business and even in your personal life. There may be some things that are just coming out that don't serve, don't give a return on investment, and they're coming out anyway. By the way, I'm not a huge fan of cutting expenses. I'm a huge fan of just never taking on stuff that doesn't make any sense. Like really just being quantitative with the things that we go and we invest in. But I will tell you, I've bought programs, kept them for a little while, and realized that's not the program or the software I'm going to use. Cut it, and you got to go and shift those. And who's got subscriptions right now on their credit card that are coming through that you're like, I don't need that. I probably know I don't need that. Yep. If you sign up for Alchemist Connect, you probably got 4 or 5 subscriptions that you're still paying for that you don't need anymore. I was talking to people this weekend at 10X and they were like, what is this software? What does this thing do? And I was like, well, if you got ClickFunnels, like, yeah, I got ClickFunnels, pay for the full subscription, $300 a month. I was like, yeah, you won't need that anymore. What about Active Campaign? You got Active Campaign? Yeah, Active Campaign. Yeah, you won't need that anymore. All right. So what about MailChimp? You got MailChimp? Yeah, I got MailChimp. I'm paying for that. Yeah, you won't need that anymore. Yeah, what about Hootsuite? You got Hootsuite. What do you use? A schedule? Yeah. Oh my God, I use Hootsuite. I was like, yeah, you won't need that anymore. Like, what does this thing cost? I was like, it's $97. Like, this is nuts. So there's things that you're paying for that you probably don't need anymore. Hands cam, if you understand where I'm going with this. Excellent. That was a shameless plug for Alchemist Connect. So next stream of income, let's dive into my favorite, equity. Equity. Actually, I like profit more, but equity is the whole reason syndicators can talk about internal rate of return. It's the whole reason syndicators can say, what our strategy is we're going to make you about 20% after we reposition the property, after we sell the property. Hence, if you've heard this before, from somebody doing large multifamily, like we're going to, reposition the property. That is based on equity. Also the refinance, this exit strategy, refinancing the property, that's based on equity. That's money. If you don't know the definition of equity, which by the way, I used to think that everybody knew the definition of equity. And this was a fallacy because I was talking to my brother one day and my brother's like, Walter, what is equity? And I just looked at him, I was like, what the what do you mean? What do you mean? What is equity? And my brother Josh now is a millionaire and owns, through real estate. He bought a $1.5 million property for $1 million with no money down. Hanscam, if you know that story already, saw him at the summit. He kind of shared a little bit about how he did it, which was basically me and his tenacity. He still had to go and do all the stuff, but I helped with a little bit of the negotiating and just a little bit, and he was able to buy it all with no money and raise the capital. And his strategy and like what really worked was he recently did a refinance and was able to not just pay out his investors, but also take a little bit of money to do renovations. And he got to, because the seller was in seller financing at 8% interest. So he was able to refinance into 5% interest. Sense the camera, if that's good. If you understand, he had no money in, and then he got to do a cash out refinance and he got money out at a lower interest rate. So his monthly bills went down. That's because of the magic of equity. When he closed on the deal, there was money in the deal. He just didn't have access to it. And so for all the fine equity, like I had to do for my little brother, who does now understand equity very well. I just, for some reason thought he would have known it by now. He was, in his 30s. Like, this doesn't happen or just for naturally. Handscan, by the way, if you do know what equity is, if you're familiar with what equity is in a building. Awesome. Okay. So for anybody who's listening who doesn't, maybe on Facebook or TikTok, equity is the difference between what you owe on the property and what it's worth. What you could sell it for, right? So the debt, what you owe the bank on the property, and then what you could sell it for. And that equity becomes real. It's actual money. It is actual money that you can use in your business, like using the BRRRR strategy, which, by the way, who here has heard of the BRRRR strategy? Buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. This is a strategy in real estate that is, it's what most people do in a up market. When the market's going up, you can constantly re-leverage here, re-leverage here, re-leverage here, re-leverage here. We're now in a market that's going sideways. The burst strategy doesn't quite work the same. It still works. It's just not as easy to pull off. See, before I could buy something at market rate, and in a year or two, it would be 10, 20% increase, and I'd have 10, 20% equity in the property so that I could do a cash out refinance. Now you have to buy it with that discount in place, with that 10, 20% discount in place already at the close, in order to make sure that that discount is there. Because if the market goes sideways, then there's going to be no appreciation on your property over the next 5 to 7 years. In the past, what we've done and what we've always taught is to always buy with a 10 to 20% equity position on the purchase, no matter what the market's doing. And so what it's done for us and our investors in our community in Alchemist Nation is we've been able to make 20 to 40% equity positions and do these big cash out refinances that we're able to reuse into other properties as down payments, and sometimes just pay ourselves. Because the other thing about equity is when you take money out in the form of a loan, it's not earned income, which means it's not taxed by Uncle Sam. Fancy the camera if you understand now how real estate investors can earn lots of money without being taxed. We're borrowing it from our assets that pay us back. Is a very good strategy if you understand the 4 types of money and how to use them in your business and when to use them and what to control around them. Your business starts to become, well, just a business in general. So I saved it for last because it's important. Equity is the main reason. Appreciation is the main reason that you become rich, but you need cash flow. I started with profit first because you need profit in order to survive, for your business to grow, to be there long enough for the appreciation to ever take hold and have effect. Hence, if you've been told cash flow is king, profit first, right? You got to profit first, pay yourself first. If your business doesn't profit, if it doesn't make passive income, there's something wrong in your business. You must adjust. You must dial it in somewhere. You've got to raise your standards for yourself. What I liked about 10X, I was asked earlier, what I liked about 10X is that everybody in the room believed in themselves. Everybody in the room knew they were worthy of more. Everybody in the room wanted more. They were hungry. There were like a bunch of Dorinas in the room. They're like, I want more. I want horses too. Like, get me that. Get me this. Let's go. And that belief system kept them focused on how to do it. They kept them focused on the next step, on doing the next thing, on taking the right actions, on showing up, right? I was asked earlier, was diamond tickets worth it, right? Was paying $10,000 per ticket worth it to sit in that front group at the event? And I will say it may or may not be worth it for you. It was worth it for us. And one of the reasons is it got us into rooms that nobody else could get into. And one of the weird reasons is that it deflected people who didn't feel worthy from talking to me, which sounds like a dick move, but it saved me a lot of people who just were not confident in themselves. People didn't believe in themselves. People who probably aren't going to be action takers didn't come over and have a conversation with me. It was only other people who also wore the red badge that were like, yeah, you and I can connect because we believe in ourselves. Hence, if you understand, when somebody pays $10,000 to be in a room, it's because they believe they're worthy of that. They've got this kind of thing. So I leveraged that and I took advantage of it, but it also pointed something out to me, that some people just don't believe that they're good enough, that they are, can make it, that if they spend $10,000 to be at an event to connect with the people who also spent $10,000, that they might not have money after the event. There's a belief system, right? Like, Hanson, if you understand, they don't spend the money because they don't think they're getting back. That's the reason. It's the only reason you don't spend the money, right? For us, for me and Dorina, like one of the conversations she'll tell you we had before the event was, fuck, we spent 20 grand to get here. I better go be effective this week. I better go reach out to some people. I better have some conversations. That money forced me to be an effective human being. Because when I was in my hotel room, tired, exhausted from networking and talking to people, socializing, I don't want to get out of bed the next day. I was like, dude, like I'll buy the recording, right? I'll watch Tom Brady on the video. But what kept me going, like showing up in the room, is I spent 20 grand and I don't know if I got it back yet. I better go out there and connect and grab some people. And the other thing that helped, by the way, outside of the fact that, I paid 20,000 to be there, was knowing that we're running the recession proof challenge right now. Hence, scan if you're in the challenge, and you know exactly why this is important to me too. So at the beginning of the month, I said, I'm going to run this challenge. I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to go raise $1 million of new people I've never talked to before. So I can't use my old database, which is what the recession proof challenge is. It's to take a bunch of people through and say, look, you got no people? Cool, me neither. Right? I'll go through it with you. I'm going to go do this with people I've never met in my life. And I was able to connect with 130 people this week in 3 days. And the challenge has 4 steps. 4 of the steps are this. Ready? Step 1, 10 people per day. You must reach out to 10 people per day. Step 2, you must put 4 into your database. I put 130 into my database. 130 in my database. I did it in 3 days, but I say do 4 per day over 21 days. That'll get you 84 people at the end of our 21-day challenge. The idea is 1/3 are going to love you no matter what. 1/3 of the people you talk to are going to hate you no matter what. 1/3 of the people you talk to are not going to care about you, your message, your brand, your company, what service you provide, what you do, your industry, no matter what. In fact, I was at 10X and this beautiful older woman came up to me and started talking to me pointedly like, oh my God, like, what do you do? And I was like, I build millionaires. And she's like, money isn't everything. And I was like, do you know what fucking event we're at? Like, we're at 10X, woman. Money is everything. This is the one safe place I have. Don't take that away from me. He's like, it's all, your health is more important. And I was like, look, I know right now that you and I are never going to get along. So I'm going to do you a favor and not get your contact information. And I'm going to move on to the next person. But I'm going to give you a pro tip. Don't come off so goddamn aggressive at a money event saying that money's not important. It's not going to work for you. And I realized that woman and me, we will never, ever want anything to do with each other's businesses. And I was able to walk away from that, and I saved her the time of doing it. So now I too was a hater. I now know that I also am a hater. I'm one of the 1/3 who will never be interested in somebody who's that aggressive about a product that obviously I'm not showing up for, right? Hence, Karen, if there's things that you don't like if somebody came to you and was like, you should live on welfare and never work again, like you'd be like, fuck you. I want to earn it. I want to know that the thing I'm doing is worth something. So we also are part of that group. We can be haters, right? We're haters of the people who don't stand up for themselves, who don't do the things they believe in, who don't get up and create something new in this world. Hence the can if you're committed to changing your life and the lives of the people around you. Yeah, so that means by proxy, we must be against the people who just accept things the way they are, who accept that, money is evil, money is the root of all evil, and you got to work hard for it, and you shouldn't work too hard. There's balance. You need balance in your life. I believe in counterbalance. I believe in the effectiveness of your time. You swing this way for a little while, as long as you build an asset, I'm fine with it. So that when you come back, that asset's still working for you. Totally cool. Hence, if you're committed to building assets after this call, this is your main goal, your main focus this year. Excellent. The more assets you build that are cash flowing for you, the more money you'll have. The other thing we do in the Recession Proof Challenge is we make social media posts. If you're like one of those people who's like, I don't want to post on social media, shit, none of us do. No kidding. You're not special. I don't want people to know, or I don't think I can post, or I can't do the thing. Like, yeah, we work through it because social media, although not a quick way to get business, over the long run is a really great way to build influence. It's a fantastic way to build rapport with people who you've already connected with. I think social media is better than email. Hence, if you open my posts at least once a week, you see my posts on Facebook, social media, any kind, awesome. Hence, if you ignore my emails, if you get emails from me that you don't open, excellent. It's interesting because I know you read my posts on Facebook more often than you read my emails. Hence, if that's true or true. Yeah, absolutely. So your social media is important. It's your follow-up. It's the relationships with your people. So we make everybody in the Recession Proof Challenge for every single day post 3 types of content: 1 video, 1 picture, and 1 text every single day for 21 days. Hence, if that's grueling. It can be exhausting. It can be very taxing, but it can also be extremely profitable because now people know who you are and what you stand for. And then 4, we read 3 books. These are not the books of the week, but they are books that work in the Recession Proof Challenge. The challenge is designed to build your millionaires. It's designed to make you recession proof, to build your network so that you can have 100 people around you who want to pay you. And Scan, if you know the rule or the idea of this community is 100 millionaires build 100 millionaires. 100 millionaires aspire to build 100 millionaires. That's what we're doing here. Easiest way to get rich is to focus on helping 100 people get rich. Focus on helping 100 people get what they want. Very specific group of people, though. People who want more, people who are hungry, people who are driven, people who will do things morally, ethically, and legally, motivated to help others, people who are givers, people who give back. When you give, they give, even if it's not to you, if they're just giving, like, awesome. That's the type of people that you want to surround yourself with. So that idea of giving, helping, supporting 100 people and helping them with their finances in some way, like if you're a real estate agent or you're a closing attorney or you're a financial planner or you're a property manager, or you're in the space, you're a contractor, you're somebody who can help people as they're investing in real estate, then there's a good chance that if you helped 100, you might make $1 million yourself. Hence, Cameron, if your business is structured in that way, where if, like Jared is a landscaper, if he cut landscape for 100 millionaires, 100 property managers, or 100 property owners, there's a good chance he'd be making $1 million. Right. So each one of us, no matter what business you're in, mortgage brokers, same thing, right? 100 clients that you constantly getting loans for, the same clients every year, getting another loan for them every year, 100 loans. Like, I think at some point those loans get bigger and bigger and you become a millionaire through just doing what you're doing. Anyway, the 4 types of money in order of importance, wherever you're at. There is no order of importance. There's just review each 4 and take a look at them and increase them all, including flow. I'm okay with increasing flow as long as it's effective. There are some forms of flow, like advertising, that make a lot of money. There's also some forms of flow, like education and live networking events that make a lot of money. We're sponsoring events now. We're sponsoring the Tampa Bay RIA in Florida here, and it's going to be tremendously impactful for that community and for our community as a whole. We're offering all of our free trainings on Alchemist Nation to the group, and the group leader is giving us a space to come and talk a little bit about what we do and share our knowledge. So it's been win-win for both of us. And one of the reasons we connected was Grant Cardone. First time when we sat down, he said, man, I just want to do whatever Grant's doing. Whatever Grant's doing to serve, like Grant, they changed my life. I just want to help him and do what he's doing. So he does syndications. He owns a real estate brokerage. He runs the Tampa Bay RIA. He's got all these different companies that he runs and supports and creates jobs. And that's why I got along with him. Hence the Cam, if you can understand, like the two of us sitting in the room together, we're like, yeah, 10X everything, right? Let's keep going. So as much as Alchemist Nation is our own brand, we're our own community. We're made up of other communities. You know, a lot of us go to ClickFunnels. We go to Russell Brunson's events to learn the digital marketing side. A lot of us go to Grant Cardone's events or Rod Cleef's events or Brad Sumrock's events or Jake and Gino's events to learn multifamily syndication, to meet guys like Vinny Chopra who are doing these bigger deals. A lot of us go to other events like Liz Faircloth. She's got Invest Her. There's a whole group of women who go to Invest Her to learn how to invest without, feeling the discomfort of being surrounded in a room full of men who sometimes when women have a challenge of just feeling like they can do this. Hence, Cameron, if half of our community is women, right? Like 50% of the people who've bought our programs and jumped into our stuff, these are some strong, independent women. So it's really important. If you don't have your spouse on board or you think that she can't get on board, you might be wrong. It's possible that the woman in your life just needs to know and be explained a little better, not mansplained, but explained, like what you're doing to make money. Hence, Karen, if maybe you cut that conversation short in the past. Hence, Karen, if like some people have done that, where it's like, this business is fantastic. Real estate is fantastic. Get your partner involved, right? If it's your husband who's not on board, get him on board. If it's your wife that's not on board, get him on board. Bill Allen was a 10X. Yes, Doug Bowman was a 10X. We had some really cool people in that room. So I want this community there next year. There was great training on the stage. There are great people in the room. I think Alchemist Nation, we've got to spend more time out in other communities. We've got to connect with other people, because if we don't, then we stagnate. Then it's just us in here with our mindset, our ideas, which is powerful. We have a great mindset, but we also can leverage the ideas, mindset, resources, skill set of other communities. So I want you to consider it this year. Put 10X on your agenda for 2024. Next year, when you're planning your events, you're planning your lifestyle, make sure it's there, along with the 100 Millionaire Summit, which will be at the end of this year in November. And if you're a digital marketer, you're prone to the idea. If you own a business and you're prone to the idea of marketing, Funnel Hackers, Funnel Hacking Live is another great event to be at. I learned so many pro tips in those rooms, so many ideas, so many strategies that we're implementing to help serve, build more millionaires. Live events are a game changer. They really are. You want more of the 4 types of money, you got to get to those live events. You got to increase your revenue. You got to increase your network. You've got to increase your partners, the affiliate partners who can send you more inventory, more people, more skills. The streams that we picked up, absolutely nuts.